Make sure that your angles are the same. Hold it on the other side if you have to. Same thing on that angle. They have to match. If they don't match, they're going to feel different to the customer. Nothing more discouraging than having your shoes feel just a little funny and you can't figure out why. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sand these up, prep them, glue them, and when we come back we'll put them together and I'll show you what the proper use of nails is and what not to use. So I didn't take off any material, I just roughed it up, didn't lose any shape, but this way the glue will stick to this now and stick to it very well. The bases simply by cleaning them up, roughing them up, making sure I get to the edge. If you leave an edge uncleaned, it won't stick. You'll get a gap when you put it together. Simple, basic. Put a little glue on them, let them dry for 15 minutes. Alright, so we're going to glue them up. I use a Masters or a Barge rubber cement. Traditionally, what Sherwood have been using for years and years. There are some other products out there, but for leather and rubber, I don't think there's a better product than Barge or Masters. Jet Set All Time is a very good product as well. It's the same thing, rubber contact cement. Like I say, when you're doing rubber or leather, stick with what works. So, I glued them right up to my line, trying to be as neat as I can about that front line so nothing shows when I'm done. Now we'll glue up both the bases, making sure I get a good cover. Any dry spot will not stick, so you have to make sure you cover everything. That means you get a little glue on yourself when that happens. Alright, 15 minutes later. Okay, so the glue is dried, and I'm ready to attach the bases. To do that, I'm going to simply center them on my marks in the front. Everything else is pretty much done by braille. I run my fingers along and make sure I've got it centered. You'll notice that I've got some material in the back here. Because of the angle of the base is going to require that material to come off. And I'll show you that when we get to sanding it. The next thing I'm going to do seat it down. Then I'm going to do the impossible. I'm going to take an aluminum square piece of wire and drive an aluminum nail into a hard leather base. Now the length of these nails is much longer than I need. And that's because they're designed to go down to the last and stop. And I'll do this all the way around, leaving that last bit of nail sticking up. I will cut that last bit of nail off and then pound them down so it's more or less like a double-sided rivet. You can feel it hit the last, and you don't want to go any further than that first hit. That means that that end of that nail is coming right up to the inside of the boot and no further. Just like that. Alright. Next thing is I will cut them off. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these off. I'm going to pull that back a little bit, leave a fly. Blow flies. Then I will pound them down so that they will develop a head on this side and the other side. And that base will not come off. The next thing you want to do, put your hand down inside there and run it along that heel seat. Make sure you have no presents for that customer. No nails, no sharp edges, no nothing. If you do, you got to take it out. You got to remove it one way or another. The next step will be to sand that around. Alright, now my next step, now that I've attached the bases, is I'm going to shape all this around so it's all one piece. It's going to be a little noisy. Watch your elbow. Watch your elbow. Now that I've done the rough shaping and gotten the general shape, I'm going to finish it up with a wider paper and then level the heel off. Here, turned over the base. You can see that where it's worn down a little bit. Where it's worn the heel down beyond where it should have. Got to level that now. Okay, so I basically rough shaped the heel, sanded it all in so that it all follows the same line and contour. You'll remember that before I had set the heel base in from the back of the sole, and the reason for that is because you want to follow that same contour to the top of that black plastic heel seat. So this is all material that had to come off.